Well, hello, my name's Louise Savage of Louise Savage Muses. An extremely warm welcome, everybody, today. After another morning of rain, the sun has finally come out here. And I am preparing. I'm really, really lucky because next week I'm going to manage to escape this rain, I hope. And I'm heading off to the Mediterranean for 3 weeks. And I don't know about you, but that is wonderful, but I only am taking a small case, like this kind of size, and the most important thing is holiday reading, and I can't cope with a Kindle very well. I don't know why, I've never sort of been able to. So I thought I would just talk you through this awful dilemma of what to choose when you are going off on holiday for a while, if you're lucky enough to be doing that. Now, I'm down on the floor because hopefully that way I can sort of share my dilemma with you properly, because all my TBR is actually along the bottom shelves of the bookshelves behind me and on this book trolley. So these are all books that I haven't yet read. I don't want to take anything I've read before. And there are certain criteria that I know that will be important before I start. So, for example, anything on these shelves that is hardback is not coming. It could be the book that I most want to read, but I can't be carrying. I'm going to be moving from one place to another quite a bit, so I don't want to be carrying anything too heavy. So the weight of the book is going to be important. And so I'm just going to dismiss out of hand all my lovely hardbacks, which seems criminal, but that's the way it is. So what else am I going to be thinking about? Well, I want to be able to make sure that the books that I take are I'm going to enjoy them, because I don't really want to be ditching books on holiday, and I'm probably only going to be able to take 3 or 4, possibly 5 if I'm lucky, for a 3-week break. That's probably not going to be enough. I don't know if I'm going to find any bookshops where I'm going. So I need to make sure that I'm definitely going to like them, and I want them to be lengthy probably, and not particularly big font. I know it sounds crazy, but I don't want to sort of carry around a big book and then find I read it in a day. That isn't going to work, because although we're going to be doing quite a bit of sightseeing, although we're going to be doing quite a bit of sightseeing on this trip, I also know there's going to be a lot of time to sit and read. It's going to be a gentle trip, unlike some of the other trips that I've done recently. So without further ado, let's have a look at the shelves. Now, I don't quite know how I'm going to work this so that you can see and I don't have my back to you the whole time, but there's also a few things. I'm just looking for my spectacles now. Oh, here they are. There's also a few things as well that I want to take into account. So I'm going to be looking at a lot of history, a lot of wonderful landscapes. I feel as though I would really like to read something historical. So I've got a starting point. And actually, the last time I was in the Mediterranean, I was reading CJ Sansom. So I've already in my mind decided that I'm going to take the next book, and I know it's here somewhere. Here it is. So this is CJ Sansom's Sovereign. Now, what I need to check is that this is the 3rd book. Yes, it is. I can see on the back. So this is the Shard Lake series. I read Dark Fire, which is the 2nd in the series, last time I was in the Med. And the great thing about this is you can see it's a big chunky book. It's not terribly heavy despite that. And the font's okay. It's not massive. It's not somewhere sort of medium-sized paperback font, I would say. And the great thing about this is I'm pretty confident that I'm going to enjoy it, because I've read 2 others. This is the 3rd in a series. It's described as brilliant, terrific and marvellously exciting on the front. So I feel like this is a really, really good starting point. So I'm definitely going to take this book with me. It's a detective story set in the time of the dissolution of the monasteries, Henry VIII, all that kind of thing. And I love Shard Lake's character. So Shard Lake is definitely going to go with me. But where I go from there, I don't know. And the other thing is, I don't know what mood I'm going to be in when I'm out there. So there isn't that opportunity to read by whim in the way that you would when you're at home and you can just go to your bookshelves or your library or wherever to get your books. So I'm just glancing over in this direction. I'm going to turn, hopefully, the camera in the right direction across my library. And over there, oh, well, if I point, I'll get my right, yeah, over there. Really find it really hard to do left, right, right when I'm looking at an image of myself on the screen. Over there in that direction, the shelves go above the bottom shelf. So that next shelf up and the one after, they are all shelves that have my TBR as well. And they're books that I would like to get to quite quickly, usually, that I sort of place on those shelves. So I'm going to scooch over there and grab a few things that are leaping out at me as I look over those shelves. Obviously, I can't take any of the hardbacks. There aren't that many on there, actually. But there are a few things that are catching my eye. So I'll be back in a minute. And apologies if you get to see my derriere. It is covered. And I'm back. So what have I got here? I have got Devotion by Hannah Kent. Now, I read something of Hannah Kent's a few years ago and really loved it. Sarah Wynn loved it. Kieran Millwood Hargrave loved it. I loved Burial Rites, that's right, an earlier one of her books. This is a friendship book. The friendship's a miracle. Before, Hannah always felt apart from the local girls, but with Thea it all came easy. Sorry, I'm covering the book up. It's the excitement. Suddenly she could imagine a future for herself, a happy one by Thea's side. But then their tight-knit community embarks on a long and brutal journey to Australia. Ooh, will their love prove too strong for even nature to break? And the good news is, because I like the sound of this, and isn't that a wonderful cover? The good news is that I was really worried that when I opened it up, because it's not a real chunkster, it's a medium-sized chunkster, and when I opened it up, the font is quite small. So that definitely fits my criteria. So I'm going to put that on my consideration pile. And then I've picked up As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow. Now, I'm off to the Med, and one of the things I will be loving is all the citrus trees out there. So this definitely fits in my head the environment that I'm going to be in. I know this novel's not set in, it's set in Syria, I think. Yes, it is. So I am owed a life that does not end in tragedy. A year ago, before the revolution, Salama watched her brother marry her best friend Layla and wondered when her own love story might begin. Now she works, I've put myself in shadow, sorry. Now she works at the hospital, helping those she can, closing the eyes of those she can't. Oh gosh, that sounds really sad. Layla and her unborn baby are all Salama has left, unless you count Quaff. So I think this is the sort of, I love books that are set in the Middle East, really, really. Even though I'm going to be in the Mediterranean, I don't mind being zipped somewhere else. Again, the cover's really appealing. I think this has been, oh, there's an exclusive short story inside. Again, the font, it's not quite as small as the Hannah Kent font, but it's not bad. So I think, you know, that's 3 books that are, one of them is set in, you know, the UK in the just after the Renaissance. Then we've got a book about emigration to Australia, and then I've got this Syrian refugee story, which I think is going to keep me entertained. So that's 3 that are looking good. Now, the next one I've picked up is The House with the Golden Door, because it would be lovely to have something classical on my travels. But what I can't remember, oh, brilliant, was whether this was book 2 or book 3 in the trilogy, because I read The Wolf Den ages ago, but I haven't read this one and I haven't read the subsequent one. I know I've got both of them, and I know that the Temple of Fortuna, the 3rd in the trilogy, is quite a slim volume, so that would not fit my criteria, but this one does. So I will be able to catch up on, and again the font's suitable, I will be able to catch up on Amara on her adventures as a prostitute in ancient Pompeii. Perfect thing to be reading. not about prostitution, but something gripping and something atmospheric and something from the deep past that I can read on my trip. All of these books are really attractive as well. I don't know whether that's something to do with my holiday, the holiday vibe. Now I've already got 4. I also picked up After Sappho, which I've been wanting to read for a while, that I think I'm going to take, although, I might, no. You see, the worry about this one is, it sounds right up my street. It's got descriptions of Capri, but I might sneak it in at the last minute, but it's sort of fragmentary, which means there's lots of white space, which means that it might not, don't know. Do I take it or don't I take it? Maybe you can put in the comments down below. It's set in 1895. Oh, it's set in different phases actually. 1902 and 1923. Virginia Woolf makes an appearance, Sarah Bernhardt, all these characters from history. It sounds wonderful. It sounds very different to the other books that I've chosen, but I'm not sure. I don't know. That's going to go on the I'm not sure. I might sneak it in at the last moment pile. And now I'm going to do a quick squidge because I quite fancy something. All of those books are by contemporary writers, and I would love to throw in the mix something that maybe is from a writer from, you know, the early 1900s or the 1800s, something less recent. So I'm just turning my back on you, sorry, that's very rude, but I'm just having a squidge around my shelves because I'm sure, in fact I think maybe on here on my wonderful book trolley, I wonder if I have something that would fit that criteria. So we've got Mary Murnau, but I've already got a sort of classical book in there, so I don't really want to take Mary with me, much as I love her books. What else have I got? Nothing there. I've got The Judge by Rebecca West, but I'm not sure I'm in the mood for that. What else have we got here? I've got Daphne du Maurier. That's quite tempting. Just really wanted something a little bit different and older. I've got The Good Terrace by Doris Lessing, which is piquing my interest. I don't know. I'm just gonna, sorry, I'm turning my back again. Just going to have a little look along the shelves down here on the floor. So I'm gonna have to really grovel now. Sorry. Bear with me. What have we got? Anything leaping out? Oh, this is exactly the sort of thing I had in mind. So I've got here Edith Wharton, who is one of my favourite American authors, and she wrote The Age of Innocence, which was made into a wonderful film with Daniel Day-Lewis and Michelle Pfeiffer. I picked this book up for a mere £1.99. That's an absolute bargain. It's a bit dusty. This one's called The Glimpses of the Moon, and the font's quite big, but I might just let that slip because it's the sort of thing I'm after. Susie Branch learned early that to thrive without money in a society driven by wealth, one must dissemble, flatter, and sometimes even drop one's moral guard in order to share a little of one's host's. Oh, I love the sound of that. I think that is going to be it. So what will happen now is that I'm not leaving for another 4 or 5 days, and I'm going to let that pile sit for a while, because I know what will happen. I'll wake up in the night and think, oh, I really want to read this, or I really want to read that. But hopefully that will stick as my holiday reads. I also do have one more shelf of books in the house, which is in the living room, and I haven't looked there yet. So there might be something on there that I choose to take. But I'm thinking that sounds like a really good range. I've got mainly contemporary writers, but a little bit from the past. I've got some historical fiction. I'm going to lots of different places. So hopefully that will be a really satisfying group of books to take on holiday. We shall see. Eek. Take care, everyone. Happy holidays if you're off on yours. And I wish I could take you all with me if not. But anyway, take care, folks. Bye.